Hey there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Wolters World, and behind me is the Fish Church, the fish market here in Gothenburg, Sweden. And today what we have for you are what you should eat and drink when you come to Sweden. So before we get started on our list, what you need to know is that Sweden has very good restaurants, so you will eat well. They can be a bit pricey, so what I recommend is go during the lunchtime and get the lunch menus and the lunch specials to save yourself some cash. But what should we eat when we come here that's Swedish? Well, the first thing, obviously, you've got to have Swedish meatballs, or as they call them here in Sweden, meatballs. Yes, you will have the Swedish meatballs, and yes, there's gravy with it, mashed potatoes, and things like that. But it is one of those things you gotta try when you're here because they actually are pretty good. And yes, they are better than the ones you get at IKEA in the US, okay? So that's the first thing, get some meatballs. Now the second thing you're gonna get when you're here is on top of those meatballs, or on the side, you'll see a little like ramekin of lingonberries. Lingonberries are these little red berries you see in lots of Swedish cuisines. You go to IKEA, I think it's in half the pictures, they have some lingonberries. And these lingonberries, it's like a kind of a sweet, tarty berry. It's kind of a combination of stuff that they put on on the top of a lot of foods. So you might have some of those lingonberries on your pork or on the side of your fish, or you know, just eat them plain, or in a soda, or on top of your meatballs. You will see that a lot out here. So that's the second thing, is the lingonberries. You will eat them, you will see them, you may even drink them. So that's the second thing you're gonna have when you're here. The third thing you're gonna have when you're here is you're gonna see it a lot of places, especially at breakfast at the hotel, is their cracker bread, or the knäckebröd. It's basically like a big, huge cracker bread, and you put butter on top of it, and you'll see it all over. It's a very traditional dish, okay? Now, the fourth thing you're gonna have when you come here is the fish, because the fish here in Sweden is fantastic. And my favorite fish is the salmon here, whether it's grilled or you have it like in gravlax, which is kind of like the stuff you'll have at breakfast, kind of like thinly sliced salmon, but you're gonna have salmon here. It is very good. The fifth thing you should have when you're here is another fish, and it's actually a much more popular, much more traditional kind of fish, and that's sill. Or you might know it as herring. Yes, pickled herring. That is a very popular thing here. You will see it in the hotels for breakfast. You'll see it on the menus. You'll see people talking about it on the train. Yes, I think I'll have some sill tonight. Yes, pickled herring is very popular here. Now, the thing is, it's not just one kind. There's lots of different kinds of pickled herring, different kind of sauces they put it in. I was in Stockholm with a friend of mine, and we kind of had like a sampler of four or five different herrings. You know what? Most of them I did like. It was pretty good, but it is an acquired taste. And one of the things, when you have your herring, you have to have a snap, or schnapps, you know, alcohol. You have to have a snap with it, and so you do it, and you shoot the snap with the herring. It's just kind of one of those things you have to do, okay? The sixth thing you want to do when you do come here to Sweden and is eat their candies. Swedes are very much in love with their candies. They eat tons of candy. I mean, Saturday is like Saturday candy day here. It's crazy. But the thing is, you'll go to 7-Elevens, you'll go to all these stores, and you'll see all the candy, normal candy you see in the US where you have the candy bars, but also you'll see a place where you can grab a bag, scoop up some candies and put it in the bag, go weigh it, and then pay for it, okay? They do love their sweets. I will warn you though, their favorite kind of candy is black licorice, or just licorice, which if you're from the US, no one likes, okay? So it's a very kind of salty, bitter kind of candy, and it kind of can shock people that, oh, this is their sweet candy? It's not sweet, but that's the most popular one. But don't worry, there's lots of other ones out there for you to enjoy. Now, if you're looking to have something else aside from candy for your sweets, I suggest having some Swedish pastries. Specifically, I recommend having cinnamon rolls here, okay? The kanelbulle, basically cinnamon roll. That's what you want to have. It'll have like really big pieces of sugar on top. It is fantastic. All throughout Scandinavia, they have very good pastries, especially their cinnamon rolls are really good, especially here. Now, if you want to be really Swedish about it, get your cinnamon roll and a cup of coffee, and you're going to fit right in. Except if you look like me, you don't really look beautiful and thin and sexy and stylish, but otherwise you'll fit right in. The eighth thing to eat when you're here is, if you want to try something a little bit different, try the blood pudding. Yes. Blood, flour mixed together with some stuff, fry it up, and then of course put lingonberries on top. So, ooh, I can eat blood with lingonberries. Yes, that is one of those kind of weird things they do have here that you don't find it everywhere, but if you get a chance, why not try to say, yep, I ate blood pudding. I ate blood. Yep, and I've had it before too, so it's not that bad. It's not that good, but it's not that bad. Now, the ninth thing you should eat when you're here, and one I guess it's more that you should know you're going to eat here, are potatoes. Swedes love their potatoes, mashed, boiled, whatever. But you might not know how to eat the little tiny potatoes you get. You don't just pop them in your mouth, okay? They're not like olives, all right? The little tiny potatoes, what you're going to do is you take a few from the little bowl, put it on your plate, and then smash them a little bit and put the butter on top. You'll be fine, okay? Just take my word for it. That's one of the big things. You will have lots of potatoes when you're here, but the little tiny ones are the best. So just smash them, little butter, you're good to go. Now, the 10th thing that I want to talk about for you should eat is if you're going out drinking and you want some late night food, what do I get for a quick snack or a post-drinking meal, or if you want a cheap little eat? There's kind of 3 things that I recommend. Okay, 1, go have a kebab. Yes, I know it's not Swedish, but the kebabs here, it'll say kebab med bröd. You have a kebab, which is, meat inside with lettuce, tomato, and sauces and a pita bread. Eat that, you'll be good to go. They're usually very good everywhere. You see them a lot of places in Europe. The ones in Sweden, actually, I found better than the ones I found in other parts of Scandinavia, so that's one thing. Second thing you can have is a Swedish hot dog or Swedish sausages. I'm not a big fan. Scandinavians love their hot dogs, and I would put Swedish hot dogs at the last, okay? So not the best, but again, quick, cheap snack. And the third thing you might want to get if you're looking for a quick eat or, post-drinking meal is go to Max. Max is the kind of local chain of fast food hamburger joints, and what you want to get is the Max Original, okay? The original burger, because the Max burgers, their big thing is it's got this special sauce on top, the Max Original sauce. It is pretty good, and if you don't want to go to McDonald's because you know what it's like, but you want something like that, Max makes a good post-drinking hangover greasy remedy for what you're going to do, okay? So those are 3 little eating things that you can have for your drinking or a cheap little midday eat, okay? Now, the 11th thing I want to say about food here is there is actually quite a few different seasons of eating here in Sweden. For example, late summer, you're going to see crayfish or crawfish, however you like to call it, and the Swedes love that stuff, and they'll go crazy for it. Other kind of things you look at in terms of Christmas time, you're going to have a couple drinks you should try. One's a soda called Julmust. I'm sure I'm messing up the name, but it's a special soda that comes out at Christmas that you're going to drink. And if you like something a little bit stronger, keep you warm in those cold winters, you want to have glögg, which is like a mulled wine. So if you've gone to Germany for the Christmas markets, their hot wine or their glühwein, it's kind of like that, okay? And then you have a surströmming, which I'm sure I'm messing up the pronunciation, which is, I think, technically the stinkiest fish in the world. And yes, you can get that here. Technically, you usually eat it in August or something like that, or the end of summer. And the thing is, it stinks so bad that apparently you're supposed to tell the neighbors and invite them over, or I guess warn them to get away because it's going to be so bad. Okay? Anyway, so those are some of the things that I think you could try to eat when you are here in Sweden. I mean, there is some really good food, there's some really good people, there's a really good time. So if you get a chance, get out, go eat, go meet some locals and sing some songs with them in the summertime, or sit quietly and eat your meal without talking at other times. Anyway, if you want to learn more about visiting Sweden, check us out at our website at woltersworld.com. If you want to see more videos like this, why don't you click that subscribe button down there and you get more videos like this. 5 things you love and hate about Sweden, 10 things to eat in Norway, right in your newsfeed here on YouTube. Anyway, I'll say hey though or bye from Gothenburg, Sweden. Hey though.